WWE Backlash takes place this Saturday from St. Louis, Missouri at the Enterprise Center. It is headlined by the last time ever match between John Cena and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. In addition, there have been several matches confirmed for the show, with many speculating that we could get some major surprises in store from Triple H and his creative team this weekend at the PLE. We're going to go through 5 possible major surprises that we could see at Backlash in this countdown video. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin today's countdown video though, you can see right there, we're currently at 21,411 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestle News universe. This year's goal is to get to 25k. Initially it was 20k, but we smashed through that in WrestleMania season. So now the aim is to get to 25k before the year ends. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can also scan the QR code right there and join members of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. And also, whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we're going to have live on the channel for the month of May. That includes WWE Backlash this weekend. So let's get into today's countdown video. And as I said in the intro, this weekend, Saturday on May 10th to be specific, it is WWE Backlash, the first PLE presented by WWE since WrestleMania 41. It takes place at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri, and is main evented by John Cena facing Randy Orton. Build the last time ever the WWE Championship on the line as part of John Cena's retirement tour. Now, there are 5 matches on the card and some possible major surprises that Triple H could have up his sleeve for the post-WrestleMania PLE. Let's get straight into these possible surprises, beginning with Becky Lynch. Could Becky Lynch be about to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship for the first time ever in her career? Well, one of the matches set for WWE Backlash in St. Louis is for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, as Lyra Valkyria, the inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, defends her title against Becky Lynch. And you feel like this has been the plan for a while, ever since discussions came up about Becky Lynch coming back to WWE television. Of course, after she left WWE last year, her contract expired. She took some time off. She wanted to spend more time with her family. She wanted to explore outside projects as well, including crossing over into Hollywood and TVs and film. But the question was always going to be, when is she coming back to WWE? We had heard that she had signed a new contract with WWE at the beginning of this year, and ever since that report came out and she did a couple of promotional appearances for WWE Raw's move to Netflix, many people questioned, when's she going to come back? Is it going to be at the Netflix premiere of Raw? No. Was it going to be at the Royal Rumble? No. Was it going to be at Elimination Chamber? No. Instead, it was at Night 2 of WrestleMania, after it was revealed that Bayley would not be teaming with Lyra Valkyria in the Women's Tag Team Championship match against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Instead, it was going to be Becky Lynch. Bayley, of course, was taken out. We later found out it was actually Becky Lynch who took out Bayley. And then the following night on Raw, shockingly, Morgan and Raquel, they won the championships back. And after that, Becky Lynch attacked Valkyria, putting the wheels in motion for this Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch turning heel in the process. And you feel like sometimes when WWE implements or establishes new championships, because they want to make these titles feel important, sometimes there is this desire to put the title on big names to add credibility to it. We saw this when WWE established the now retired WWE Universal Championship. That's why they wanted to have the likes of Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, etc. all hold that championship, because they wanted to add history to a title that didn't have that much lineage. We could see a situation just like this. Becky Lynch, she's done it all in WWE. Of course, she's won the Women's World Championship. She's won the Women's Championship, Raw, SmackDown Women's Championship. She's won the Women's Tag Team Championship. She's won the NXT Women's Championship. And you felt like certainly towards the end of that last WWE run that she had, they were just kind of finding stuff for her to do that she hadn't done before, hence going on a bit of an excursion to NXT to win the NXT Women's Championship. And during that time, who did she face off against Lyra Valkyria as well. So all of that kind of stuff, they're always looking for Becky Lynch to do. And I feel like this is the case. You feel like when they establish that we're going to have Women's Intercontinental Championship and Women's United States Championship, that is something that does get the attention of a Becky Lynch. That is something that does get the attention of a Bayley. That does get the attention of maybe a Charlotte Flair, who have won the biggest prizes in WWE multiple times over and over and over and over and over again. So what I think could happen this weekend is Becky Lynch becomes the second ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. And of course, that sets up a feud with Bayley because, of course, she took out Bayley. She prevented Bayley from having a match at WrestleMania, which many people aren't happy with. Bayley's not injured. It was just creative plans. And how do you, I guess, reward Bayley for being a good soldier, just like Triple H said, pure class? I guess you have Bayley defeat Becky Lynch at some point, maybe SummerSlam, one of the biggest events of the year. 2 nights this year, of course, in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. Bayley defeats Becky Lynch, rather, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I think Becky Lynch begins her reign as the Women's Intercontinental Champion this weekend at Backlash. Now let's move to Jacob Fatu. Speaking of title matches, this weekend at WWE Backlash, we're going to be getting a fatal 4-way match for the WWE United States Championship. Yes, Jacob Fatu will be defending against former WWE United States Champion LA Knight. Of course, the same LA Knight that he defeated at WrestleMania to win the United States Championship, against former United States Champion, that being Damian Priest, and also against former WWE Champion, former Intercontinental Champion, that being Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew McIntyre, you might wonder, has Drew McIntyre ever won the United States Championship? He hasn't. He's won, as I mentioned, the Intercontinental Championship, WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, but he hasn't won the United States Championship. And you could make an argument, could Drew McIntyre win the US Championship this weekend? I think it's entirely possible, because I think where this one could be going is Solo Sikoa could be set to cost Fatu. We've seen the cracks in the foundation of the Bloodline for quite some time. Whatever iteration, if they're even called the Bloodline anymore, I don't even know really what they're called. Going into WrestleMania, it felt like Solo Sikoa didn't believe that Jacob Fatu could win the United States Championship. He proved him wrong. Recently on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa has kind of taken credit, hasn't he? He's taken credit for the reason that Fatu won the United States Championship, because he brought him to WWE. He brought him to WWE last year, and Jacob Fatu kept saying that I love you, Solo, and his love led him to becoming a champion within a year of debuting in WWE. Pretty impressive stuff, but this is building to something, isn't it? This is building, you think, to Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. The question is, how do they get there? Do they get there by eventually Fatu just having enough with Solo? Do we get there by Solo? He is the heel after all, and Jacob Fatu is clearly outshined the former tribal chief. So because of that, does jealousy rear its head, and does Solo Sikoa cost Jacob Fatu the United States Championship? And you might say, well, he's only just won the United States Championship. But maybe it's too soon. Well, maybe it's just part of the story. The part of the story is that Fatu's only going to hold the championship for a small amount of time, and they're going to get the title off him because they're going to solidify his babyface turn by facing Sikoa, and that's going to build to a match possibly once again at SummerSlam, possibly at Money in the Bank or something like that, Clash in Paris, and that's how they're going to propel Solo and Jacob Fatu, and maybe it will lead to a future match with whoever does win the match, and that could be a Drew McIntyre. As I mentioned, Drew McIntyre never won the United States Championship before, and you do feel like they're building up, and there's got to be something for him to do. There were rumors that when he was moved to SmackDown previously, it was to challenge for the WWE Championship. This is when Cody Rhodes was still the WWE Champion, but of course things have changed. Now John Cena is the WWE Champion, and he's going to be facing babyfaces. John Cena's a heel. Therefore, McIntyre, that push he was going to get, and that maybe title he was going to win, isn't now available. How do they navigate that? Well, you could have certainly Drew McIntyre win the United States Championship here, and then, because you do Solo versus Fatu for a couple of PLEs, you eventually build to Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre over the United States Championship at SummerSlam. That feels like a pretty big match, doesn't it? So I wouldn't be shocked if this weekend at Backlash, we do see Solo Sikoa turn on Fatu through jealousy and cost him the United States Championship. Now, could we see brothers reunite this weekend at WWE Backlash? And you might say, how is this even going to be possible? Well, one of the matches at Backlash this weekend will be for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, in which we will see Dominic Mysterio defend his WWE Intercontinental title against Penta. Now, Penta, for at least a couple of months now, has been eyeing up the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Prior to WrestleMania, he wanted it when Bron Breakker was the champion. In addition to that, of course, he challenged for it at WrestleMania in that Fatal 4-Way. He wasn't victorious. Dominic Mysterio got the victory in that one. But of course, when you're facing off against Dirty Dom, when you're facing against Dominic Mysterio, who do you have to be aware of? You have to be aware of the Judgment Day and the numbers game. And what I think we could see in this Intercontinental Championship match at Backlash this weekend is a situation where the numbers, they're just too much for Penta. Dominic Mysterio, he is the heel after all, somehow, someway, successfully retains his Intercontinental Championship, maybe through interference by the likes of Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Raquel Rodriguez, possibly Carlito. Looks like Liv Morgan won't be around because, of course, she's in Japan filming her Bad Lieutenant Tokyo film. But still, there's plenty of members of Judgment Day that could get involved and cost Penta the championship. And you do feel like, given that Dom is the sort of chicken shit kind of heel, he's that kind of heel, he's not going to beat Penta clean. That would be very surprising. And Penta, yes, he has done some jobs since he came into WWE earlier this year, but he's been largely protected in the sense of, look, he's a big merchandise mover. He's a very popular talent in WWE. They want to make sure Dom's not really going to pin him clean. So you think that Dom will probably retain by some kind of interference from the Judgment Day. And post-match, what happens? The Judgment Day, they could probably do their attack on Penta, and it would be quite lucky, wouldn't it, if there would be someone to look out for Penta? Oh, of course there is. His brother, Rey Fenix, of course, recently signed with WWE. They're on separate brands, but the draft, you would think, is probably going to be coming up soon. And who even really cares about the brand split anyway? Because WWE seemingly doesn't. They make their own rules regarding the brand split every other day, it seems like. Sometimes it's a hard split, sometimes it's a soft split, sometimes there's no split at all. And it's a PLE. Both rosters are set to be there. So you feel like if there was ever a time they were going to reunite the Lucha Brothers, which seemingly is the plan in WWE at some point, it could be now ahead of the WWE draft. And then you could see a situation where possibly the Lucha Brothers at upcoming PLEs face off against the likes of the Judgment Day and more. And given, of course, WWE's recent acquisition of AAA, you could see situations where the Lucha Brothers make some upcoming appearances as a tag team in AAA Lucha Libre as well. So don't be shocked if Penta and Phoenix reunite this weekend for the first time on WWE TV. Now, Pat McAfee, he's scheduled for a big match against former World Heavyweight Champion Gunther in what many are considering to be a complete mismatch. Now, of course, this stems from Gunther being so furious post-WrestleMania about the comments that Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were making about him on commentary after he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Jey Uso, that he snapped. He went after Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee, protecting his broadcast partner, shoved and actually punched. He hit with a forearm the former World Heavyweight Champion, and Gunther choked him out. Because of that, Gunther was indefinitely suspended. He actually just had some time off. But it's led to this match. Now, at the time, I was doing a watch-along for this angle when it happened on the Raw after WrestleMania. And I did think to myself, is this a case of McAfee being written off TV? Because, of course, we know Pat McAfee isn't with WWE year-round. As we get closer to the spring, to the summer, into the fall, of course, we're talking about football season. He's still going to be on College Game Day. Of course, we've still got the Pat McAfee show. So with all of that, it becomes a question of, well, when is Pat McAfee going to leave WWE television because of his other commitments? Now, I thought it might have been a case where McAfee would have just been back for sort of the Netflix premiere of Raw, build up to WrestleMania, for Mania itself, and then he'll be written off. Of course, that's not the case. He's actually going to have a match. Now, seemingly, he's getting into shape for the match. He's taking bumps. He's working on his cardio. But I think what we could see is, despite a valiant effort from McAfee, and maybe even a couple of near falls, you would think Gunther has to make an impact here. And Gunther has to do something even more violent after being embarrassed in losing the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. How do they do that? Well, McAfee has a match, but he leaves WWE television with a bang. So I wouldn't be shocked if Gunther not only defeats Pat McAfee this weekend. I'd be stunned if Pat McAfee did defeat Gunther, but I wouldn't be shocked if we do see some kind of angle where you thought that chokeout was violent. You're going to see something on another level. We saw Gunther, of course, absolutely decimate Jimmy Uso in the build-up to WrestleMania with a violent, bloody angle. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw something similar, and that writes Pat McAfee off WWE television until his commitments when it comes to College Game Day or something like that are finished up. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if that was the case. And finally, as I mentioned, the main event is for the WWE Championship. John Cena defending against Randy Orton for the last time ever. And John Cena is going to retain the WWE Championship. It would be incredibly surprising, wouldn't it? After all of the build-up and the storyline, 17 World Championships in WWE, defeating Cody Rhodes in a bit of a dud of a main event of WrestleMania and the Travis Scott involvement and what have you of just the next pay-per-view. I know Randy Orton's in his hometown. But Randy Orton beat Cena. That would be surprising. I don't think that's going to happen. You never know. There are twists and turns in WWE. Anything is possible, but I'd be very, very, very surprised. It feels like the long-term direction for this is Cena is trying to live up what he said he's going to do. That's retire as WWE Champion and take the WWE Championship with him. I don't think he's going to fail in his first attempt at defending the WWE title against one of his greatest ever rivals. And you do feel like this retirement tour for Cena is going to be a bit of a trek down memory lane, facing rivals of his past. One being Randy Orton, possibly another being CM Punk and Roman Reigns and other names too. So you think Cena's going to retain. But as we've seen, WWE doesn't always have the most time to build to more premium live events. And after we do a Backlash, of course, we've got a Saturday night's main event, which John Cena is advertised for. After that, of course, after that Saturday night's main event, we've got Money in the Bank. And Money in the Bank is going to be taking place at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. Of course, that was the site for the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw earlier this year. And that will be Cena popularly defending the WWE Championships there. So I wouldn't be shocked if at Backlash we find out who John Cena's next opponent is going to be. Of course, there's rumors about Cody Rhodes possibly returning to WWE TV. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania. That could happen at Backlash. And if that does, could he face off against Cena? WrestleMania rematch, Saturday night's main event, NBC. They would hope to do a good number. That's entirely possible. Could we then see a face-off between CM Punk and John Cena? Punk's not advertised for the show in terms of a match, but anything's possible. Maybe a face-to-face confrontation with Cena. That leads to a match and Money in the Bank, of course. Money in the Bank being the site of their famous match in Chicago in 2011. So I think Cena's next opponent for the WWE Championship could be decided as soon, or at least a hint as to who it's going to be, as soon as this weekend. So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises for WWE Backlash this weekend in St. Louis, Missouri. What are your thoughts on some of those surprises? Are some more likely than others? Which ones do you think are right? Which ones do you think are wrong? Let me know your opinions, your hot takes, all of it in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as I mentioned. You can see right there, we're at 21,411 as we get closer to 25k. Scan the QR code. You can join members of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Regarding Backlash as well, remember, we're going to be live this Saturday for a watch-along and also for a post-show too, so be sure to join us then. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.